Hi, my name is Torben Jørgensen. I work as an information specialist at the Copenhagen University Library. In this lesson, I'll talk about where to search for information for your assignment. I'll talk about search engines, library catalogs, and subject-specific databases. In order to find relevant information as well as relevant types of materials and literature, it's obviously important that you search in the right database. I'll provide you with some useful tips and suggestions on where to search. I'll talk about these three categories. Firstly, various online resources such as search engines, encyclopedias and other reference works, and open educational resources. Secondly, I'll talk about libraries, library websites and library catalogs. Finally, I'll talk about bibliographical databases, multidisciplinary databases, and subject-specific databases. Most people begin their information searches on the internet by using a search engine that presents the search results, text, pictures, and data in a ranked order. You can see some examples of search engines here. Search engines can be useful starting points in a search process because they tend to provide an overview of a given subject. But you should bear in mind that we don't know which parameters have been used to rank the results. The search engine may use a relevance ranking or a ranking based on your previous searches, or, since most search engines are commercial businesses, a ranking based on who has paid the most to appear amongst the top search results. Another place to begin is Google Scholar, a search engine that includes a large amount of scientific literature, including peer-reviewed articles, pre- and post-prints, theses, textbooks, book chapters, conference proceedings, reports, and so on. You can find definitions of all these different literature types in the glossary. To optimize your searches in Google Scholar, you can add library links that make it easy for you to access full-text articles that the library subscribes to. Your library must support this functionality. Having inserted a library link in Google Scholar and carried out a search, you will be able to see if you can access a given article through your library. In this example, we insert a library link for Harvard University Library. When we search for an article, the name of the library will appear next to the search results, and if we are patrons of the library, we will be able to access it immediately. You will learn more about full-text documents and how to gain access to them in another lesson. You can also look for information in encyclopedias and dictionaries. Here you can see some examples. You will probably have to access reference works such as these via a public library or via your university library. You might search for the so-called open educational resources, for short OERs. OERs offer free and unlimited access to entries on a wide variety of topics and on a wide variety of platforms, for example, the OER Commons platform. You use reference works partly to look up terms, facts and concepts, and partly to gain inspiration for further searches. A key source for your search for information and literature is the libraries. When you search the online catalog of a university library, you basically search the entire collection of material that the library owns and offers access to. Here are a couple of examples of some major library catalogs. Librarians will be happy to help you search for subject-specific material in their catalogs, so don't hesitate to ask if you have any questions. Your library offers, without doubt, some subject-specific guides, outlining the major databases and information resources within your field of research. Look for headings like Subject Guide or LibGuides on the library website. Subject guides come in many shapes and sizes, but the resources described in a library guide will most likely include both multidisciplinary and subject-specific databases. If you feel unsure about which databases to consult, ask your supervisor or your librarian to help you define the most useful information resources within your research area. Both multidisciplinary and subject-specific databases will contain records of the most significant publications within various fields of research. The content will have been carefully selected based on criteria such as peer review, impact, and relevance. You can be sure that the records in bibliographical databases provided by university libraries represent high-level research. In the help section of the individual databases, you can read more about subject coverage, content types, and date range. The records in a multidisciplinary or a subject-specific database will often include keywords, and when you have explored the terminology of your topic, you can carry out very precise searches using keywords such as these. The notes in your logbook will also help you select good search terms. These databases are also called bibliographical databases because they contain bibliographic references to publications. As a student, however, you will often be able to access the full-text version of documents via a link from the bibliographical reference. Thank you for listening.